It's over, but not yet official. And Joe Biden is gearing up for his move into the White House. And his message to the world leaders, big changes are afoot in Washington.
I'm letting them know that America's back. We're going to be back in the game.
So what does the return of the old America mean for the rest of the world? Here's how the Biden administration could look. While it's an inclusive lineup with several new faces, the candidates are heavyweights of American politics. Let's take a closer look at their CVs. The hands-down favourite for Secretary of State is Susan Rice, who served both as National Security Advisor and US Ambassador to the UN under Barack Obama. A strong advocate for the intervention in Libya and US involvement in other states, Rice was in the planning to replace Hillary Clinton as Secretary of State. She withdrew after accusations that she misled the public over the 2012 Benghazi terror attack.
Explanation about how 4 Americans died in Benghazi, Libya by Ambassador Rice, I think does not do justice to the reality at the time.
I relied solely and squarely on the information provided to me by the intelligence community.
And Rice was one of those who never let go of Trump-Kremlin collusion. Even just a few months ago, she was adamant that Russia had its hands all over the election.
I almost never say this, Karen, but 100% convinced that Russia is doing much of what it did in 2016 and certainly more.
Well, that confidence seems to be gone now that Joe Biden is projected as the winner. The likely nominee for Pentagon chief is Michele Flournoy, Obama's former Undersecretary of Defense, who helped persuade the president at the time towards a military intervention in Libya on humanitarian grounds.
You know, I supported the intervention in Libya on humanitarian grounds. I think we were right to do it.
A supporter of the US troop surge in Afghanistan and escalation of US involvement in Syria, she's also a hardliner on both Russia and China. Flournoy once said that future warfare may come in many flavours, and with an advocate of big bets on new weapons at the head of the Pentagon, America can expect a full menu of delicacies. It's no secret the CIA has historically been a pillar of US foreign policy, and one of the picks for CIA boss is Michael Morel, who rose to prominence during the Obama years. He's already familiar with the job, serving twice as acting director. A man steeped in the CIA's longest-standing traditions, Morel would no doubt be successful, bringing his plans to fruition in the new Biden administration.
We need to make the Iranians pay a price in Syria. We need to make the Russians pay a price.
We make them pay the price by killing Russians?
Yes.
And killing Iranians?
Yes, cowardly.
Nothing highlights the agency's prestige better than a director openly planning covert assassinations around the world. And if you expected some adjustments to the world's largest military budget with an economy heavily disrupted by a rampant pandemic, those will probably only go one way.
I've met with a number of my advisors, and some have suggested in certain areas the military budget is going to have to be increased.
The advice from Biden's advisors is certainly clear. And with many on his Pentagon transition team working for think tanks sponsored by NATO, governments such as the UAE and Qatar, and large arms manufacturers, why wouldn't it be? Biden's running mate, Kamala Harris, was also a critic of America's withdrawal from Syria. Should a Biden administration make good on her ambiguous post-election promise to make a return to standing with partners in Syria, these firms could be in to make a killing.
On the one hand, we're looking at competence, people who are clearly competent in the job that they're doing. But on the other hand, you can be competently implementing bad policy. And I think that's what we're going to be looking at in a future Biden administration if it comes to pass. It will be bad policy, interventionist policy that will lead to more wars. Joe Biden himself is an interventionist. I mean, this is a man who promoted intervention in Libya, promoted intervention in Syria. He's a man who voted for the war in Iraq and then defended that vote afterwards. And so he's going to surround himself with people who are similarly inclined. You know, the world today doesn't necessarily want the United States to be the dominant power. The world wants the United States to be a friend, a big brother, somebody who will help them but not dominate them. Biden is more of the dominating school, and I don't think this bodes well for America's relationship with the rest of the world or for the United States. We simply can't afford to keep doing this kind of aggressive interventionism.
Trump's 4 years of America First are coming to an end, while Biden's intent to rejoin some international agreements and institutions will leave many optimistic. This will be tempered with strong caution as the hawks in his administration arrive back in town.